Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to Harpin on Rugby. Now, we're going to call this an emergency pod because apparently that's what you call it when you do one outside your regular schedule. Normally, we do previews and wraps of Leinster and Ireland matches, but between Saturday and Monday evening, so much happened that we can't really wait to harp on it all. So, just some quick intros here. I'm delighted to be joined by Neil Keego Keegan and Keego Rugby Kino Muller, getting their 80th and 33rd caps respectively. Welcome to you both, lads.
Wow, you really should know better at this stage, Jeff. My goodness.
Indeed. So let's keep this moving. On Monday, not long after that injury update, we learned that Dan Sheehan had signed not only a new contract, but actually a central one. Now, we're going to touch on the rights and wrongs of that central contract system a bit later. But Keego, I'm not sure a whole lot has been said yet about the man himself and how he totally deserves this.
Look, the longer he goes without a central contract, the more you worry, because, the longer it goes, the more he can name his own price. So, the guy obviously deserves it. He deserves whatever they need to give him. He deserves all of that and more. The job he's done, and he's also pushed that number 2 position. You look at what Kelleher's doing. Kelleher's really stepping up again as well, and that's because of the job Sheehan's doing. So like it's much deserved, and it's great that it's like whenever things actually get signed, you get really excited. Like O'Mahony the other week, different jersey, equally as excited before we start fighting with our Munster brothers and sisters. But Sheehan being there locked in is a beautiful thing.
Oh, I think those fights are going to happen whether we start them or not. What do you think, Kino?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's hard to overstate how much Dan Sheehan deserves a central. I mean, like, yes, we'll get into the arguments about stuff and things and shapes of whatnot, but like, no one can deny that he deserves a central contract, and it was important to nail him down on one. Because yeah, as Keego said, his value is only going to go up. I mean, look, he is into the top try scoring in the Heineken Cup again. Sorry, the Champion Cup. Sorry, yeah. Minor sponsor now.
Investec, whatever.
Minor sponsor, Investec. Yeah, I don't do much investing, so I can't remember their names.
As for Heineken, though, we do quite a bit of Heinekening. So
we
if they
do a
want
lot
to
of research
us,
into that. Yeah, no problem.
We're happy to take that sponsorship.
Yeah, the Heineken heavy portfolio is just set to take off. But yeah, Sheehan, like, no one can argue the actual contract itself. He's an amazing player for both Leinster and Ireland, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I mean, Keego said it there when he referenced Ronan Kelleher. I mean, when he came up, we had him a long term. We thought, if you jump forward and said he was the one getting the central contract now, we wouldn't have been surprised. We were giving them nicknames for the front row for Leinster and Ireland with him and Porter and Furlong, and then just along came Dan Sheehan, and he blew by him. I don't think Kelleher really did anything else. Like, you just more talent came ahead of him, and it's great to have them both, and it's good to see them walk down. Keego, yeah.
Can I just say one thing? It shows how good of a signing it is when it's not the thing that other fans are complaining about. So as we're saying, no one is really kind of gone, he doesn't deserve it or anything like that. That's not what's being said this week on social media, which is a cesspool anyway. So I think that shows how great a piece of business it is and how much it's deserved.
Absolutely. Okay, so then we thought we had more than enough excitement for one Monday. That is until around 5:45 p.m. when the Leinster Rugby Marketing Department asked someone to hold their beer before teasing a 6 o'clock signing announcement, Kino.
Yeah, I hadn't realized Oppenheimer had gotten a job in the Leinster social media department, because Jesus, what a bomb. Signing, like, it was pretty much out of nowhere. Like, there'd been rumors for a couple of weeks, but like rumors of all black, all stars, sign for, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard these ones before. And then, yeah, sabbatical from the All Blacks, 6-month contract with Leinster starting in December. Yeah, he has that link to living in Meath for 18 months in his childhood, when there was only 6 of them at the time, I think, 6 kids. It went up to 8 later on. So there's numerous Barretts. It's kind of disgraceful that only 3 of them are actually playing for New Zealand at this point. That's less than half. Really should have aimed higher there. The pretty big, like, Jordie Barrett's a pretty big boost of the back line. Frankly, I mean, he covers pretty much 10 through 15. I mean, usually centre fullback. But like, to not just international level, but to All Black level, that's insane. I can't remember a back signing that had that for Leinster that had that much of a CV before now. I mean, Natai, who's been absolutely wonderful for us. He has that one cap, if memory serves. Um, but like this is different gravy. Like his ability to play multiple roles at that level as well is going to make things very flexible for us, especially in that sticky run from the Six Nations through to hopefully knockout rugby time. And you'd imagine he's going to be fairly prominent throughout. And yeah, his experience, his level of experience is going to be massive, especially in those knockout games again. Um, it's really exciting. It's massively exciting. Um, it does kind of bring to mind your Brad Thorns and your Rocky Elsoms and the kind of impact they had on relatively short contracts. And to be honest, I'm just as excited to see what kind of impact he has on the young backs, similar to those other short-term contracts, because we all know how they resonated throughout the following years in Leinster, the effect they had on players within their area of effect. So it can only do good things.
Absolutely. Keego.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's the big thing. Yeah, we know what he is and how brilliant he is and all that sort of stuff. But he gets to train, absolutely. Let's phrase this the right way. Week in, week out with Jamie Osborne. You know what I mean? Like all this sort of stuff. And that's like going to college for that kid for 6 months. And like when he leaves, all that knowledge stays. And like as you say, he covers 10 to 15. So look at all those players, those young players who will be exposed to this World Cup winner. It's a bit like Snyman coming in and playing in that middle of that pack. It spreads everywhere. So I can see why teams would be annoyed with this signing, but for Leinster, it is a masterstroke based on what he's going to leave behind. He will be engaged with everybody. He's not going to be holding anything back. When he's playing European games, it will be a high standard for him. And then, as I said, he gets to pass all this around, all the way from, even Ross Byrne, who is 100 million caps. He's going to learn from Jordie Barrett, all the way back to Hugo Keenan, who's going to be learning Frawley, Osborne, all these players. So like it's beyond exciting. It's similar to previous years where we've just got to try and keep calm. It's a different type of calmness we need now. We need to not use Jordie Barrett, but we need to, squeeze as much of the lemon out of him as we can for that 6 months. With all due respect, we love you, Jordie, but
sorry, you're doing what to him now?
That's for a different podcast.
It's a new training technique I haven't heard about.
It's for my new Heineken sponsored podcast called "What Are You Doing, Jordie Barrett?" But no, it's good.
Heineken now with lemon.
Yeah, there you go. But it's ridiculous what he's going to do for the players around him, because I know we've had back rows, we've had second row, things like that. But now we get someone working with the backs, every single position. He's going to be leading them around the pitch to the point where they're not going to need any sort of leading. They're going to be monsters in their own right. So it's great. You look at the job Jamie Osborne's done over the last few weeks, throwing Jordie Barrett in on top of that, the experience, what you're going to learn. We keep saying it's exciting. This isn't an emergency podcast. This is a celebration.
Yeah. It's emergency for some people, I suppose, but
yeah, that's true.
I might get a few rage listens, but we'll see what happens. No, listen, it's a great signing. We always say, a lot of people say about these signings that it's taking time from other players, but as you say, that there's two sides to that. They get to spend time with them on the training paddock. They get to spend time with them, like learning from them and all that kind of stuff. Plus, there's the thing that a lot of these people, they want to come to Leinster, and it kind of works both ways in a sense. So it's great news, and on top of everything else we were hearing on Monday, it was great to hear. And as always, after I'd locked down my running order for this pod, we had even more extra content from Leinster Rugby on Tuesday morning in the form of a farewell letter from Ross Maloney, who's of course off to play for Bath at the end of the season. Check it out on the Leinster site for the full thing if you haven't already. But here's just a taste. He says, quote, "I have played for and captained the team I love. I've won trophies and shared priceless memories with great people, with my family and best friends beside me, and I will leave with nothing but fondness for a great club. I will do everything I possibly can to finish my time in Leinster as I started, giving my all for the club I love, Ross." You okay there, guys? See there's something in your eye?
I'm not crying. I'm not crying. You're
crying.
I'm
crying. There's just something.
I put my lenses in the wrong eyes. That's the problem. I just,
That'll do it. Look, it's
Um,
very simple. We have to see this guy off with a trophy or two. There's just no other way
Yeah.
about it. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
it. Like, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what a club man! Like, what is it
Yeah.
about second rows that they tend to be the epitome of the club man? You know, they can happen in the front row, they can happen in the back, they can happen in the backs, but the true epitome is almost always second row. And Ross is absolutely the epitome of a club man. Never took a step backwards. Always gave it everything on the crappy, wet, dark days. They were always in Wales, were they? I think I might have been. But never took a step backwards. Absolutely the epitome of a club man.
Amen. And I think we better leave it there on that note. You know, it's almost full circle. We could talk about that for ages, but listen, that's brilliant. We're going to leave it there, lads. Thanks a million. Thanks, Keego and Kino, for joining me. Thanks, lads. And do keep up with us across all our social media platforms of your choice. And look out for our Lions preview, which should post on Friday. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.